And this is for the, this says specifically, I guess we didn't say kindergarten because we could move that around, but we know we're gonna need to fill that kindergarten spot. Okay? All right. So, discussion. And the whole, the concept of the idea behind opening this is so we get ahead of the game. And if there are teachers that are graduating in the winter, we get our name out there and we can get ahead of other people that are gonna be trying to snag them.
And, yeah, and we'll need this teacher
Yeah,
next year.
How's it doing that though? Because I think it's our kindergarten numbers coming in next year. Our kindergarten teacher,
We don't know the numbers coming in next year. We haven't even done a preliminary.
going,
We're gonna move, we will more than likely move the kindergarten teacher up at this point.
we'll
I mean,
need
you're-
to first grade next year.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we'll move
Yeah.
to first grade, but we don't know.
I don't know if there's any harm in opening up the position.
We don't have to.
We don't have
You're
to
opening
hire.
it, you're not hiring it, you're not
Yeah.
moving a contract.
I mean, I just think we need to get ahead of the game here.
Just to open and advertise, right?
Yep, there's no motion to accept the teacher, there's just a motion to open the position, that's all the motion is.
I guess I don't have a problem with that, but I do think that should be something that's kind of driven by the principal.
What
It's-
are they doing now?
It's the hiring, and I mean, I didn't go to her because we're just compiling applicants. And so she would be, if there'd be interviews, she'd be involved in interviews. If we were to actually bring a recommendation, that would all be part of that.
Will I be involved in staffing needs, like what we're gonna need for staffing or possible staffing needs? Will I be involved with that discussion?
Yeah, but we're just simply opening the position for next year to develop an applicant pool. And if there's a immediate applicant, we would bring that to you. Yep, we would do that. This is just opening a position to develop the applicant pool.
Just curious, because it could be that we don't need a kindergarten teacher, we might need a fifth grade teacher or a seventh.
Right.
fourth
That's why I
grade
think-
teacher.
Right, but we
That's why
might
we-
need, but we might need a teacher, so that's why I
This
think,
is just for elementary.
yeah.
It just
doesn't
says
say
open
specific
elementary teacher, and I kind of pushed back, we said kindergarten.
Yeah.
Somebody said kindergarten when we were developing this agenda, I said, we don't know that, we're developing an applicant pool, so we gotta keep that language broad. And that was why I insisted on the language being broad on the agenda.
Elementary.
And we're foreseeing an elementary educating position to be open for next year.
I would,
We have 2 elementary teachers right now, so who knows? But
so let's just go by the numbers. You know, I was at the community cares meeting when they projected out our amount of kids that we had in grades 0 to 5 last year. That covers all kids in the whole Wells County, does not include just us. Fessenden there's 500 kids, 0 to 5, 100 kids per class. Now I thought that was a really aggressive number, to say that there's 500, 0 to 5, but we did see 30, like big kindergarten class come in off those numbers, right? Then we had, we know that Fessenden's preschool is very large. We know that we do not have a private preschool per se this year, but we do have a full Head Start. So the numbers based on the data that we have would say that building an applicant pool would be prudent.
Yeah, I mean, as long as we see that it's reasonably foreseeable that we're gonna need a teacher next year, I don't see the harm in opening it up.
Just opening and advertising, yeah.
Okay, any more discussion?
I don't have a problem with opening a position for an elementary teacher, but I would like to see those kind of conversations taken to the principal instead of just on the agenda.
Well, I will bring any sort of hiring or anything like that to the principal. As far as opening and closing contracts, that is the prerogative of the board. So I brought it to you first because it's part of
talking part of our budget, do we have a preliminary budget then?
No,
You
but
can't-
if we're gonna end up having to meet it, we're gonna have to make it
Yeah.
work. So, yeah, it just like you said, it was just to open it.
This is just an opening.
Okay, any more discussion? Any more discussion? Any more discussion? The motion on the table is that we are going to open an elementary position for the 25 school year. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, please say aye. Okay, motion passes. Okay, we'll now go to the culture and climate evaluation.
So that I'm told that there was questions developed, and then you reviewed the questions. Did you review all the questions that you had?
Oh, with, no, that never happened.
It did not happen. No. Would you like to table it then?
Yeah, because she was gonna get back to us and she never did.
Okay.
We met with her at 7 o'clock one morning,
So-
and she was at awe that we would want to meet at 7 o'clock. And she was gonna do something she hadn't done in 3 years, and that was watch the sun come up, and we said, you go to each other and goes, oh my goodness.
Yeah, well, she said she'd get those to you on
Yeah, so that,
Tuesday, she didn't.
we will
so
table that.
table it, okay.
Who's we and what are we talking?
Okay, so, James and I are working with the legendary people on developing a cultural and climate evaluation. From that point, all of this is just talk. So, okay? Just talk. Ad hoc committee, we had to establish that. So. Okay, all right. Spencer, the committee report is the building committee, and so I'm gonna turn it over to you, and at some point, you gotta let,
Well, Jim, come on.
yeah, at some point, you gotta let him speak on you first.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, go ahead, Mr. Wyman, you have the floor.
Mr. Anderson, after hearing what I've heard tonight, I have no questions. I see movement towards hiring this core guy, addressing, evaluating our heating condition, all of our lighting, all of those things. I don't have any questions relative to the building committee.
Okay, well, we're gonna let Spencer talk about some things, and Jim, I'm going to, if you have a question for Spencer, I'm going to defer that, since you were on the committee, I'm gonna allow you to ask questions, Spencer, after he gets done, if you want, okay? Okay, go ahead, Spencer.
I mean, just some of the highlights to say, I mean, we've done some maintenance this year that, whether it's the roof or the sidewalk over at the elementary, but one of the things we talked about at the end of our meeting last time was, again, getting more serious about the discussion of what we want to do on a large scale here. And I don't know too, I know that, I don't know if you called him, but one of the things I request, Robbie, I tried calling him too, is that there's a state contact for ADA that I've called before and I've never gotten an answer back from, but I'd really like somebody to, I'd like that contact or whoever it's gonna be from the state to come and do a walkthrough with us and talk about all the things we need to do as far as egress goes and things. I mean, we got issues in both buildings, but primarily the elementary school. But, our thoughts were is getting to the point now that we're here together is trying to figure out here in the next months of, and this is my opinion, people can think differently, but this is why I want to bring the discussions. I really think we need to start with some level of forum activity. I really think we're kind of going back to square one of, there's been conflicting messages. We had a survey with a decent sample size, and I think we still need to determine, do people want to move to one campus or do we want to renovate the old building? We need to determine that first.
So we know how to move forward.
And, or we can look at both options, try to get some cost estimates. I don't know how accurate we're gonna get with that. I mean,
Probably need to get some updated ones. so
which is why I wanted the ADA people to take a walk through, but, because as far as just that, again, that task goes, as far as the things I'm aware of, that's an enormous task over at the elementary school. The gymnasium and the locker rooms alone would be like, I don't even know how you would do it, jackhammer all the bleachers out.
Can't believe
So,
it.
no, I left messages at the state of North Dakota, but I would like for us to kind of agree on something, how to go forward. I don't think putting up maybe not necessarily like any sort of committee yet, but I'd like to get to the point of getting as many people in a room, tossing some ideas again, like we did about a year ago, but kind of just, even if it's to raise your hand if you, or have people open mic it out, and what do you see? And,
Right.
and
And then maybe also to ask is like, to get, if they thought, so we get better numbers, you know, do we need to get, like, for example, this assessments done and those things done, and, I mean, to give us a better number so that we know where we're at, because I'm either remodeling or whatever, or it might help too, so maybe this core solutions might help with some of that, or whatever.
If you wanted to amend your motion to include ADA in your core solutions assessment, they can do that.
Oh, sorry, that was the release for information.
And he can get somebody to walk through for you.
I mean, I think we ought to, I make that amendment, not only is it something that we're, you know, in a way technically obliged to do, but it's the ethical thing to do. I mean, I just don't think we need to.
He's already got one with the wheelchair, and that's the kind of ADA right there, so.
Yeah, well, and again, here, there's a lot less problems, but I just, you know, you think of the ethics part of it is, you know, somebody has some sort of condition that doesn't allow them to be as mobile as others. It doesn't mean they shouldn't be allowed in the same areas of a building they also pay for with the rest of us. It's not really so, yeah, I mean, if we wanna make that into amendment, I would amend
Okay,
it.
so we already passed that motion. So my suggestion would be that you would add, that we would add this to have, to them to evaluate, you would add this to core solution to evaluate.
Yeah, I would move that we also have core solutions look into ADA issues in both of our buildings.
Okay, is there a second to that? Okay, now we'll go back and discuss that. Discuss that, we'll just add that, what we're doing is adding, because they evaluate that.
I think it's a good idea.
Okay, discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we've done that, okay. James, do you want to add anything, you're on the building committee?
Well, we were gonna, talk about setting up a committee or a forum, I don't know what that will look like.
It's unfortunate now, I mean, I hate to use it always as an excuse, but you have holidays coming up, people being gone.
But it's something we did kind of start to plan.
If you
that
start with
maybe
one
in
sometime in the weirdness of December between the holidays, I don't know, but it's just, I want it to be on the docket coming up soon of like, let's
So it's time to start moving.
let's get some people in the room talking about it again.
Okay.
And hopefully, maybe if we start into the new year, maybe we'll have some info from this core solutions in conjunction that can be presented, and we can, more informed ideas can come about.
Sure, and then maybe we have more to present at forums too and things or whatever after we got some of this maybe by January.
But also, use the things that we learned in the last year's processes. There's a couple things of, slowing things down and doing the due diligence, or let's start with getting people in the building and get some reasonable assessments and costs in the first place, get something fine-tuned. Don't have vague language that confuses people. We need to make sure that we're better at what we do. But that's what we do, we learn.
That is a legislative piece that they're talking about, ballot initiative questions being able to be one sentence. So that they're simple, yes, no, and then the implications of them. That's been brought up as a bill that might be in the hopper. Because the language, we're not the only ones that the language, people read it and they're like, is this a yes or is this a no? Like, what do I? And
A
so,
lot of people have that question.
it's not just us, it's like multiple districts across, but that's the language that you have to have in century code to be able to call it formal and be enforceable by law. So that the legislature will be considering that, I believe, so there'll be ability for us as a board to be able to give even some input if it comes up, and I can bring that in my report.
Going back to these two guys' discussion, the other two board members have anything that want questions?
Well, I think to start out, the way to go is a strictly open forum. And no restrictions.
At a
I
special
would like
meeting,
to see the
not a board meeting, but a special meeting. Okay?
I would like to see the assessment and things, maybe if we could, of course, that might really help. I mean, before, I agree with public forums, I would think maybe if they can get this done by January, I think that we actually have some assessment, something to work on.
I don't wanna put Chris in a box, cause he did
No.
just say 3 months, so you're looking at probably February.
Yeah, but I mean, we can still start 3 months about the roof.
Okay, well, maybe he'll get everything done and back.
That was my impression too, 3 months is real.
No, we can't put an exact date on, but I do
Mr.
like.
Wyman, are you happy with, you didn't get your 5 minutes, so do you have anything you want to add?
Well, the only thing I want to add, and I agree with what you said, Mr. Marchand, you want to be open and do your due diligence, but one thing I want to throw into that equation, above all else, is integrity. This time, tell the people the whole story, the truth, the whole story. You know, not things that you want to go your way or whatever thing, you just tell the whole story. Now, we've gone 240 days or more since we faced this issue. Okay? We have done absolutely nothing. Okay? Our children, that's more than one school year for the kids. I've been subbing over there, and I can tell you something. There's an air quality issue because I've been subbing for choir. It's right above the furnace, and there is a issue. If my kids were in there, I wouldn't like it. I don't even like it myself being in there because that coal gives off some kind of a gas, and it's repulsive to me. It kind of makes me sick. But in all honesty, I am getting wore out. Okay? I was a big fan of going forward and doing something, moving forward, but we've gone over 8 months and we haven't addressed anything. Our building committee, you don't do anything. Have 2-minute, 4-minute, 8-minute meetings. There's nothing addressed. We got $1 million sitting in a big fund for building committee and taking care of things. Nothing has been done. We have I'm not trying to be mean. We are almost at the state of a crisis in our school system, not just our building system. Our elementary school, the teacher attitudes, the dissension, the things I hear are shameful. And we need to address those. Now, you limit your meetings that we can speak, and you limit them down so much to one specific item. It's hard to address everything that's going on. I don't know if you have to open that up different or what you have to do, but I'm a hometown boy here. I want the best for our kids. But if you go to February, we've gone a whole year now, and we haven't done anything. And all those critical issues we had that were bad for the safety of our children still exist. So I don't want to belabor the point, but you have little sayings and little epitaphs and quotes out here in your hallways. One right out here, it says, if you do nothing at all will change. We have done nothing. How do we expect change? We don't do anything. I want our school to be the best, just like all of you. But it just seems like we're not dealing with any of the issues. I don't know. But I'm a hard guy to run down and play out. But trying to follow you guys around is playing me out. Going to this legendary business here, you want to keep things local, and you're referring to somebody in Texas telling you how to run your meals, or run your meetings. You know what that appears to me when I listen to that legendary? You guys aren't prepared. They ask you questions, you're not prepared for the answers. It's like you haven't done your work. That's what it appears from the outside. I don't know if you have or not. I don't know. But if you're gonna become I went through legendary experiences. You're gonna become legendary in an infamous way, not doing anything. Legendary refers to image. You want to have a good image for your school. And you're getting a good image. You're getting a bad image is what you're getting. I'm not trying to criticize, come down on everybody, but I would like to see some movement. I don't really see it. And, just like your evaluations, I was in the meeting and I understood Spencer to be given the go-ahead to do that study.
No, he was not.
Okay, that's what I understood, and so did several others. Okay, now, the point is not whether you had.
I'm with you, and to sit up here and tell me that I spend 10 hours a day and that I'm not trying hard, I disagree with that, so.
Say that again, I didn't hear
I
what you
think it's very offensive, Jim.
Say it again.
You're saying that I'm not doing nothing, I spend my whole life in the school, and you're telling me that I do nothing and don't care about the school?
No, I'm not.
Yes,
I'm telling you nothing has been done. You may have tried to do something.
I think part of it was to calm the people down because they were so worked up about some of the things, wanted to calm them down a little bit and get a more even thing. And So that was part of that, okay? So you've got,
months.
you've had your 5 minutes, and I was.
8 months, Wade?
So, well, you've had your 5 minutes.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
thank you.
All right. Any other discussion?
Next meeting.
Unless you guys need more about them.
Okay, next meeting is December. What's the date on that?
Third Wednesday. Yeah, the third Wednesday is the 18th.
Okay, 7 o'clock. Call for a motion to adjourn December meeting.
I'm so much like it.
Okay, motion adjourned.
I didn't look at you and reply, I didn't.
I don't think either. Can have my.
No, I'm just saying the same thing, like, I haven't been home. See you there. It was quiet today, which means they were saving it for tomorrow, right?
Right?